My official prediction for Oscar night is, come the ceremony, both Zoe Saldana and Kieran Culkin won't win. Now, maybe one of them will win, maybe one won't. That is what we are going to be discussing today in this power rankings. And at this moment, I think there are 6 people who can definitively have a reason to believe that on March 2nd, their name will be called out on Oscar night for a win in the supporting performance. So how I'm going to do this is a tier list broken down into 5 tiers. The first tier is the honor is the nomination. There are going to be 3 names in this category. The next category is it's not impossible, but I only have 1 name for this one. The next category is, was it obvious the whole time? I have 2 names. And then that leaves us with the 4 contenders as I have named them. For each of these names, I will be giving the best case and evidence for and against. All right, so getting to the tier list. Again, we have 5 categories, 10 names to get through. And let's start with the bottom of it. The honor is the nomination. I had 3 names here. So we're going to go 10 to essentially 5. And then the last 4 is where I really want to focus up on who I think actually is a threat to win. So let's just start with number 10, the person that I don't see a foreseeable future for them to win this. And I am putting Felicity Jones for the Brutalist at number 10. And let's give the evidence for and let's give the evidence against. The reason that Felicity Jones could win, I believe the reason Felicity Jones could win is because this is going to be the film that wins Best Picture. This could win Adrian Brody an Oscar. This will win Best Director. This is a film that could end up performing very well, and she is a fundamentally crucial part to this movie. That would be the case I would make for her winning, which I don't think will happen. Let's make the case now for why I don't think she is going to win. One easy sentence: she is not good in this movie. I saw The Brutalist, and I think Felicity Jones is quite poor in this movie. I don't think she gives a good performance. I think this is a really bad characterization of her as just the wife character to a great man. She is essentially, her role in the movie is supporting a great man trying to build something really special, which, by the way, that is also the goal of my YouTube channel. I'm not going to say that I am a great man, but I am saying that I am trying to build something else special here. So if you're liking this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Shameless plug tying into the Brutalist, but that is the evidence for and against Felicity Jones. So let's move to number 9. And here I am going to say we're going to have 2 best supporting actresses in here, and Monica Barbaro is going to get in for a complete unknown at my number 9 in this power ranking. So let's do it again. Case for, case against. What would be my pitch to essentially say this is why she could win? Here would be it. Monica Barbaro is, in theory, a movie that really performed well at the Academy Awards. A Complete Unknown got like 8 nominations and 3 actor nominations. Like, that's a big deal. That overperformed for a movie that a lot of people like me expected only Chalamet to be the performer that got nominated a few months ago. It got into director, it got into picture. You could easily make the case that Timothée Chalamet wins, and you could make the case that Edward Norton has a good shot. This could be the actors just going crazy for A Complete Unknown, and she gives a challenging performance having to mimic a well-known artist, and I think she nails it. I think she's so good in this movie. What is the case against Monica Barbaro? The case is, of the 5 supporting actresses in this movie, 3 of them are performances that require a lot of singing. And the other 2 are just simply more flashier and are bigger names. That would be my case against Monica Barbaro. Let's go on to my number 8. And this one pains me to have it as low as I'm about to have it. Because this, if I had to give out the Oscar to Best Supporting Actor, I would give it to this actor without question. I'm going to be doing this video later this month where I talk about if I voted for the Oscars, who I would pick. But ultimately, I live in my own reality, And that's why Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice is going in at number 8, and rounding out this category of the honor is the nomination. Case 4, case against. Case 4, resistance against Trump. It's as simple as that. Obviously, we kind of know what's going on in the country. I don't need to get into those details right now, but a vote for The Apprentice is a vote against Trump. This is a movie that could get more notice now that it is nominated, and people feel a very certain way as the current political climate continues to escalate and grow more, I think, ferocious, I guess is the word. Like, there's going to be more division, and this is not going to be the last story we hear of Trump these next few weeks. That would be my case for Jeremy Strong winning, is just that this performance and this man in particular is going to be front and center at the news for the next 4 years. Yikes, I said that out loud. The reason against is kind of the reason that I just hinted towards at the end when I kind of just thought about it. Like, there's a fatigue, and there's a not, and especially for people who think the way that I think, there is a want to not think about the doom and gloom that some of us may feel. Again, you don't have to feel that way. I know a lot of people in Hollywood probably are feeling that way, and a lot of people in the country are probably just trying to tune out some of this noise, and rewarding a film like this would just kind of put that all front and center, along with the fact of, do you really want to deal with retribution from the sitting president if he is actually serious about some of his threats that he's making against people who act in quote unquote opposition to him? I just think it's just too murky of a situation to exist in. And to be honest, talking about it as long as I have, I want to move on. But yes, I would give him the award myself. I think he by far delivers the best performances out of any of these actors that we're about to talk about. It's not impossible, but seems unlikely. I had one name for this. I want to make sure. Yeah, I had one name for this. And I think the nomination, it's in the same way that the honor is the nomination. Like, I am more convinced in the narrative that I am going to present that Yura Borisov could win Best Supporting Actor than I am the other 3 names that I just mentioned. One, the case for beloved role within this movie. I think this is the character that a lot of people, of the people who watched Anora, I should say, like, this is the role that a lot of people noted the first time watching it. Like, obviously it's Mikey Madison, and then of the supporting performances, I've like, wow, the chemistry that Yura has with Mikey Madison is what makes the second act of this movie, and specifically the finale, just work to a perfect degree, honestly. And I think that's it. Like, this movie hinges on a few key decisions made for this performer and how he delivers it, and specifically the two-hand roll at the end, the meat and potatoes of Anora, you could say, like, where the movie needs to hit, Yura and Mikey Madison deliver, and it ties together all the thematic value of what Anora is, and the story of class and exploitation and transactional relationships. I think this is really where that movie just like locks into place. It's a really brilliant performance by Yura that I really support. Case against is name recognition. This is the case of one, he is in a movie that has a lot of really great Best Supporting Actor performances. I've heard a lot of people kind of struggle to say which one is their favorite, so that could be an issue. And two, just simply the other names I'm about to present, especially in this Best Supporting Actor category, are just significantly more famous than him. So I think that's why it just seems unlikely. Now let's move on to this next category, which is, I call it, was it obvious the whole time? Which is just simply the category of, when I look at it and I look at these actors or actresses, I just think like, oh, maybe we were too dumb to realize. Like, maybe it was just like, we're going to look back in like a month after the Academy Awards happens, because it happens less than a month. That's crazy. And we're just going to be like, how did we not predict this? It's like this, there was so many precursors, or not even precursors, but there were so many signs that were pointing to this making sense in retrospect. So let's just do this with what I believe would be my number 6, right? 7, Yeah, it's my number 6. I am going to make that case for Isabella Rossellini, Conclave. And I actually will admit I just switched that up last second. I had Isabella a little bit higher on this list. Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, let's make the case. Beloved actress in a movie that a lot of people like. And a lot of people thought this scene, specifically the big moment of her character, works wonders and is kind of the idea of the movie. Case against. I don't get this performance still. Like, I don't get this nomination at all. I've been really resistant to the idea that Rossellini, we get a nomination for this. I'm still pissed that she got the nomination instead of someone like Margaret Qualley. I just don't think Isabella Rossellini is... I think it's a good role, and I think she's good in the movie. I just don't understand how it elevates itself in any way. That's my confusion of it, where she does have one moment in this movie, and that's the moment, that's the Oscar clip that people will be showing, obviously. The scene where she essentially stands up and speaks the situation at hand. Like, that is a really big moment. I found it very similar to what America Ferrera got nominated for last year with the Barbie speech, and I found it less effective than the Barbie speech. So you can make that case that, like, this scene is why this film should win Best Adapted Screenplay. I'm just struggling to believe that this film would win Best Supporting Actress for Rossellini. But you have this legacy thing. You have this legendary actress nominated for a film like this that people like. Like, that's a big thing to notice. So that's why they're coming in at number 6. So Felicity Jones, 10, Monica Barbaro, 9, Jeremy Strong, 8, Yura Borisov, 7, and then Isabella Rossellini, 6, which brings me to my 5. And as I said earlier, I said 6 people have reason to believe. So Isabella Rossellini does have a reason to believe that her name could be called up there, and I wouldn't be shocked by it. Number 5 is one that I'm actually kind of, to anyone who watched this video or to watch my videos of predictions back in like September, I said I thought this person was going to win this category. So I'm kind of surprised they're as low as I have them here. But I just thought of Robert Downey Jr. last year winning for Oppenheimer and what he does in that movie, the role that he plays. And I'm like, Guy Pearce can operate in a really similar mode in The Brutalist. And then I saw The Brutalist and I'm like, Guy Pearce gives the best performance in The Brutalist. Why shouldn't Guy Pearce win the Oscar for it? And I'll be honest, again, on my list, like, if I'm looking at the 5 names nominated for Best Supporting Actor, I would have Jeremy Strong number 1. Guy Pearce is number 2. I think he gives definitively the best performance in The Brutalist. I find him so effective as this capitalist who is, how he operates, how he does his business, and the way that he controls, and then leading to the finale of this film, which is quite shocking and upsetting, especially in the film post intermission. Like, there is some really nasty stuff explored with this character, and I'm not going to spoil it, but I think it is really expertly done by Guy Pearce. And I think that's the reason he could win. Like, that's my narrative of it. If you watch The Brutalist, his performance is undeniably great. And this is a film, as I already laid the case for Felicity Jones, this is going to win a lot of Oscars, and it will probably win Best Picture. And if you like this movie, I think you have to really admire what Guy Pearce is doing in it. And I think he has this career narrative. He's been great. He was kind of like, why isn't he a bigger star? Like, that is all working in his favor. What isn't working in his favor? Like, that's what I'm still trying to figure out. And this is even, maybe I need your guys' help. Like, let me know in the comments why Guy Pearce won't win. Like, what would be your one sentence to why Guy Pearce doesn't win? I'm trying to think of it on the fly right now. And the best that I can come up with is the narrative that I had earlier with Robert Downey Jr. is Guy Pearce is just not Robert Downey Jr. He's not that level of A-list fame. And I guess that's the best case I can come up with. And if anyone was divided on the Brutalist, I guess you wouldn't necessarily go for Guy Pearce. I just don't know who's watching that film and then thinking Guy Pearce is bad in the Brutalist. So that's why he's coming in at number 5, which leads me to my 4 contenders, which you can see right here. 2 of them should be obvious. They're the front runners that we all kind of know right now. Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez, and then Kieran Culkin for Real Pain. And then the other 2, which I think a lot of people were maybe suspecting these were the 2 names that were going to be in the contention. It is Ariana Grande for Wicked, and then Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown. So just for full transparency, and I think that's important, before making this video, I had Ariana Grande as Was It Obvious the whole time. I moved her into Contenders and I bumped Rossellini back into Was It Obvious. Originally, I had Rossellini in the Contenders. And that's what I kind of want to talk about. So who is coming in at my 4th? And let's actually just talk about it because that's the name that I want to present right now, which I guess that kind of spoils who I think is going to win this category. I think Ariana Grande, let's just kind of start with the thing working against her, which I think there's a few narratives working against her. Wicked is a pop film the same way Barbie was a pop film last year. And obviously Ryan Gosling didn't win that. Ariana Grande is a pop star, not a primarily known for her acting. And then finally, the big reason is if they really wanted to give Ariana Grande a win, now that they know that she is a good performer and that she did what she did in the first Wicked movie, there's going to be a lot more emotionality that she can tap into with the second film and that source material of the second half of that play. You can just give it to Ariana Grande next year. Now, I don't know if they would. I think that's like kind of the struggle of, hey, like, are you going to go for Wicked 2 years in a row? And what if Wicked Part 2 isn't as good because some of the songs just aren't as iconic in the second half of the Broadway play? Like, I always think it's stupid logic to just be like, oh, well, we'll give it to you next go around. Like, nothing's guaranteed next go around. If you really think they're the best supporting actress performance, which I do, out of all of these 5, she's my favorite, and I'd want her to win. I'm rooting for her to win. I guess you could say I stan her to win. Like, I stan Ariana Grande, however you want to say it. Like, all of that, that is all true in my case. I think she's brilliant in Wicked. That is the case against. The case for is, and maybe this is where we should just get into it because I can kind of spoil it now that I'm kind of saying who I think will win for Best Supporting Actress. I still do have Zoe Saldana. And to be honest, with every day as Emilia Perez passes by, I feel less and less faith in Emilia Perez's chances. Now, let me work in pro of Zoe Saldana real quick. And I think there is actually some stuff to take away that is pro of her. She has done an incredible job navigating the landmine that is Carla Sofia Gascon imploding her career in front of our eyes. Zoe Saldana has been able to answer every question. She has been able to do it with a sense of humor, especially when she accepted an award earlier this week. I think it's like the British Film Critics or something like that. Like, she accepted it like last week, and like she made an allusion to kind of the drama and like not thinking she would get it at this moment, something like that. I forgot exactly what she had said, but like, she's handling this PR crisis as best as she can. So it's the question, is she going to get dinged? Now, the reason I titled this thumbnail the way I did is I just don't think she's safe right now. Like, if Zoe Saldana lost, like, there's a lot of reasons to see, and it really is just the backlash of Emilia Perez hitting. Alongside with that, I mean, I just think Zoe Saldana is the best part of Emilia Perez. Like, let's not get that twisted. I thought the movie was good when I saw it. I saw it again, and I'm like, this movie is pretty fundamentally flawed. I don't hate it. I don't hate it as much as some of you probably hate this movie. I think I have it like 2.5 stars right now. Like, it's an okay movie at times. And I also think it's really misguided and really poorly approached in a lot of its sensibilities. Zoe Saldana is really good in a movie that just like doesn't have an idea of how to be a comprehensive movie. but she's really good in that. Like the El Ma sequence is a scene that you could traditionally think of an actress winning an Oscar for. And she's magnetic in it. Like she really does do stuff incredible in this, in the way that she performs, the way that she sings, the way that she raps in this movie. There's a lot of fanfare support in Zoe Saldana, if not the movie. It's now just the question is Zoe Saldana so much of a front runner that the controversy won't get to her, or is there just going to be more bombshells and more bombshells? There's still a month out, and I just don't think the Emilia Perez situation is going to get better as days approach. And I don't know. I don't feel locked into this. And also with that case, like Ariana Grande could easily win the Screen Actors Guild nomination. Like that's where we're at right now in this race, which brings us to the last two, the Best Supporting Actor. So right now, I do feel the most secure that I have Zoe Saldana as my one. I think she is the closest to a lock we have in this category. I have Ariana Grande at 4, leaving me with Edward Norton and Kieran Culkin. And if you remember what I said earlier on, my thesis for this video was I didn't think Zoe Saldana and Kieran Culkin would win. And right now, I think Zoe Saldana will win. Again, I think that could also change. Basically, my bet is I am not taking a bet where I think both of these leave the awards with an Oscar in their hand, is what I should say. So that technically, obviously implies that at my number 3, I have Kieran Culkin. Now, here is the argument for. He has been dominating this race. I don't understand it. He's good in A Real Pain. He's really good in A Real Pain. I'll even go as far as to say, what is he doing differently than every way that he acts, either in Succession or even like giving a speech? Like he just seems to be himself, and like that's a really charismatic personality, and like that's what makes him the actor he is. And I'm also just like not convinced like that should win you an Oscar. Like honestly, out of these 5 that I have listed for Best Supporting Actor, he might be in my 5th slot. Like I don't know, like I just don't get the need to reward him for this performance. And that's where I'm struggling with it. And maybe that's my own bias, and maybe this is going to be the easy case of like, hey Ben, like he is going to go on, he is going to win this category. He very well could, and this could just be my own bias. I've been seeing that conversation creep up more, and honestly the reason I have him at 3 is because I'm just like, you know what, like Edward Norton is Edward Norton. He gives a good performance as Pete Seeger in A Complete Unknown. He's beloved, he has paid his dues, he has kind of rebuilt a trust within Hollywood that seemed to have kind of been broken. He had such a bad toxic reputation behind him for quite a while. So much so that when he's in the movie Birdman, like he is poking fun at his difficult personality. Recently, he just kind of seems to be well liked and beloved again and respected, and like because he's one of our best actors. Edward Norton is one of my favorite actors, and I love seeing him in movies. And I think he's really good in A Complete Unknown, even if, again, I wouldn't be the first to reward him for A Complete Unknown. I just look at it and I'm like, if I'm choosing it, like I'd rather put Edward Norton instead of Kieran Culkin. And I think there's that career narrative that is really working in favor. So let's just kind of break that down. For Kieran Culkin, the favor is that he is dominating this race. The against would be, how is this different than what he's been doing on other shows that we love? And are we just going to reward Kieran Culkin for doing what he's already done very effectively on other TV shows? And is he a TV actor? Like, I think that could also play in his negative. In favor of Edward Norton, beloved veteran of Hollywood, paid his dues, has given us great performance time and time again, respected by the Academy, has rebuilt his brand, and is even playing a role within this movie that is just softer than anything I think we've ever seen from Ed Norton. Case against would just be like either Kieran Culkin is just such a front runner at this point that you don't believe it. I think the other one that could be it is a complete unknown going to get 2 Oscar wins. And maybe that's too many. Like, is this movie, as I focused it earlier, is the goal of a complete unknown in people's eyes like reward Chalamet? And that's what I actually want to talk about. Like, the reason I'm leaning favor towards Edward Norton. I never in 100 years predicted James Mangold to actually break through in the best director category. I thought he was like 6th or 7th, like at best. Like, honestly, I thought Ramel Ross had a better case. I thought Denis Villeneuve had a better case. Like, there were a few directors ahead of him in my order, and I know he obviously got DGA. Like, I know he got the Directors Guild. Like, I just never saw it for this movie, and to see it overperform, to see it get 3 nominations, I'm like, this isn't just a recognition of Timothée Chalamet. This is a recognition of the actors in this movie, the people who made this movie. Like, it got into Best Picture. Like, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing that I think we should focus on that I didn't mention for Kieran Culkin. If a Real Pain had gotten into the Best Picture race, I'd feel like pretty comfortable saying he's the winner. He didn't. Edward Norton did, though. And I think that matters, and I think that's something worth talking about in favor of it. So, in my official prediction, come Oscar night, I think it's going to be Zoe Saldana and Edward Norton. And Robert Downey Jr. will present Edward Norton with his Best Supporting Actor win. That feels right to me. But does it feel right to you? I want to know. Let me know in the comments below what your 10 are ranked. Or you can do it by Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress. Either way, I want to know. So, guys, thank you so much for spending your 30 minutes with me. I always appreciate it. You guys got me to 2,000. You're getting me growing real quick. It really helps me. You don't know how much I appreciate it. Just some housekeeping real quick. I believe Sunday I will have a review out of I'm Still Here. That may be Tuesday. That date could change, but I'm Still Here is a review coming out in the next few days. So, Country of Brazil, rejoice. I know you guys have been in my comments section. It is now in my hometown. I will be seeing it real soon and reviewing it real soon. I have other videos coming out. I've heard a lot of your guys' comments about give us your best performances of 2024. Those are coming real soon. I just booked a guest for that. I'm really excited for that. That will be coming out near the end of May. And I had mentioned earlier, I am a voter for the Film Independent Spirit Award. So in the next few days, probably I think next Thursday, the 13th, I will be doing a video where I essentially fill out my ballot for the Film Independent Spirit Awards on this channel. So if you're at all interested in any of those, plus all the numerous reviews that I'm going to be honest, I am mostly a review channel, and it has just been so slow for movies recently that I haven't gotten a chance to review a ton of movies, but I will be getting into that as 2025 ramps up. So if you're liking any of the videos and content I'm doing, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps me out enormously and puts me in the room to see these movies and gets me the opportunities. I only get those opportunities because you guys have been so great.